This morning, it's 5 a.m. for me. Don't know when you're watching this. We're talking about English charters and America's founders. Specifically, we're going to talk about the establishment of Jamestown and the ideological impact it had on our founding fathers. So, background. The charters of the Virginia Company of London extended rights of Englishmen to the colonists. Now, this is important to understand that the rights guaranteed were kind of extended further into some of our founding documents. So we're going to look at the roles Virginians played in securing individual liberties. Essential questions. Numero uno. Why are the charters of the Virginia Company of London significant? That will become obvious soon. And what roles did George Mason, Thomas Jefferson, and James Madison play in the adoption of the Bill of Rights? Dun dun dun. All right, background. So, English rights. The basic rights of Englishmen were guaranteed to the colonists by the charters of the Virginia Company of London. Because the English settlement patterns were based more on companies buying land and then selling and getting investors and so on, the government was less involved in individual objectives, things individuals wanted to accomplish, were more stressed in the way English colonization took place. This led our founding fathers to expand these ideas into the rights of the individual. So first we're going to look at this guy. Love the hair. George Mason. He wrote a document called the Virginia Declaration of Rights. So we're talking about a long time after Jamestown. This states that all Virginians should have certain rights, including the freedom of religion and the press. That's a big deal, being able to criticize your government or argue with other people in a public forum without being in danger of being oppressed. The basis for the Bill of Rights of the Constitution, this is one of those bases. Next, we're going to talk about this guy. Terrible image. Look at that. Anyway, Thomas Jefferson. And that's the Jefferson Memorial in Washington. He wrote a document called the Virginia Statute for Religious Freedoms. That's statute. There's a statute. This is a statute. It stated that all people should be free to worship as they please. This is the first time religious freedom is protected by law, so a rather revolutionary document for really all mankind, saying, government shouldn't be able to tell you how, when, where, what to worship. It is the basis for the First Amendment to the Constitution of the United States, at least the part that guarantees religious freedom of worship. Then there's James Madison. You might have heard of him. He's written a few important things, not the least of which he's known as the father of the Constitution. He kept detailed notes during the Constitutional Convention, which helped us now later to understand the processes and the ideas behind the Constitution. He engineered some of the compromises on the most difficult issues facing the delegates, mainly things like representation and how that was established. He authored the Virginia Plan. This proposed the federal government of 3 separate branches. Remember that? Separation of powers and all that. Became the foundation for the structure of the new government. Additionally, he authored much of the actual Bill of Rights. So we got our top 10 list. Got James Madison to thank for a lot of that. And that's it. So the right to keep and arm bears. Thanks, Mad Jimmy. Seems like an odd one there. So hope you've enjoyed this installment of Learning with me. Good morning or night, whatever.